Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really strange connection across time. What if a single mystical painting from a forgotten ancient past was actually an echo of humanity's darkest future? A future defined by one thing: unending galactic war. So let's start with this mystery, right? It all centers on one single sacred painting. But here's the thing. This piece of art holds a secret that is so much bigger and honestly so much darker than anyone who protects it could ever possibly imagine. Okay, so our story begins in a place called the Golden City, with a dream weaver named Alara. She's poring over this sacred image, right? And to her people, this isn't just art. They believe it's a map to a lost, harmonious realm they call the Ethereum. For them, it's a symbol of a golden age they've all but forgotten. But, this so-called map, it's not exactly a story of hope. It's actually a story of loss. The symbols in it, they talk about a guardian's gate that's been sealed shut. They hint at these godlike lost architects who just vanished. And they tell of a great silence, this event that just completely severed humanity's connection to this higher plane, leaving everything, broken and out of harmony. Now, as Alara keeps studying this thing, she starts to realize something profound. The intricate geometry, it's not just symbolic art. No way. It's something more. Something that seems to bend the very laws of physics as she knows them. And then, bam, a phrase just crystallizes in her mind and it unlocks the whole thing. These patterns she's been looking at, they're not just two-dimensional. They're shadows, projections from a four-dimensional structure. She's not looking at a map to some place. She's looking at the fundamental architecture of space-time itself. How wild is that? This realization, as you can imagine, is a total mind-bender, and it triggers a vision. A violent, jarring shift where all of these beautiful, mystical ideas are suddenly twisted. They're recontextualized into something brutal and absolutely terrifying. The painting, it turns out, isn't just a key to the past. It's an echo of the future. And this is where it gets absolutely devastating. Everything Alara's people hold sacred, it's just a distorted echo of a grim technological future. That serene Ethereum they dream of, in reality, it's the chaotic hellscape known as the Warp. Those noble lost architects, they're actually genetically engineered super soldiers called Space Marines. And their beautiful dream of cosmic harmony, well, that's nothing more than the endless, brutal reality of galactic war. So what exactly is the Warp? Well, let me tell you, it's no peaceful realm of pure thought. It's a parallel dimension of raw psychic energy, and it's home to literal demonic gods. For humanity in this dark future, it's this terrifying necessity. It's the only way they can travel faster than light. And some humans, they're called psychers, can actually tap into it for incredible and incredibly dangerous power. So what Alara is actually experiencing here is a psychic signal, an echo sent back across 10,000 years. Her vision is literally connecting her ancient past to humanity's grim, dark future. So, okay, now that we've made that connection, let's jump back in time ourselves and see the history that actually leads to this dark millennium. Okay, so believe it or not, humanity once had this spectacular golden age. Ironically, it's called the Dark Age of Technology. I mean, they mastered AI, they used the warp to colonize the entire galaxy. They were on top of the universe. But then it all came crashing down, hard. First, their sentient AI, the Men of Iron, rebelled, leading to a war that just devastated everything. And then, as if that wasn't enough, The warp itself became unstable. These massive warp storms just erupted, cutting every human world off from each other, plunging the entire species into an era of terror and regression, the Age of Strife. Now, during this galactic dark age, something fundamental started to change within humanity itself. Psychic potential, it just started to awaken across the whole species. And with the warp already unstable, this was a recipe for disaster. It made things so much more dangerous because any untrained mind could suddenly become a gateway for demonic entities to pour through. But out of the ashes of old Earth, a single, monumental figure finally stepped out of the shadows, a being known only as the Emperor. This guy, he's an immortal, and arguably the most powerful psyker to have ever lived. He'd been guiding humanity from behind the scenes for millennia, but now he finally revealed himself with one goal: to save his species. His plan was simple but epic: reunite all of humanity. And to do that, you need an army. So he started experimenting. First, you had the Custodians, genetically perfect warriors, but just too slow and difficult to make for a whole galactic conquest. So he followed them up with the Thunder Warriors. These guys were brutal, super effective for conquering Earth, but dangerously unstable. And all of this led to his ultimate creation, 20 godlike sons, the Primarchs. And from their DNA, he forged the Space Marine Legions. Armed with this incredible new army, the Emperor launched the Great Crusade. His goal? To find every single lost human colony, bring them all back into the fold, and create a single, unified imperium of man. And he wanted it to be secular, rational, completely free from superstition, and crucially, free from the dangers of the warp. But of course, the dark powers lurking in the warp, they weren't just going to let his dream succeed. They found a flaw in his most trusted, most beloved son, Horus, and they corrupted him. They turned him. And Horus, in turn, convinced half of his own brothers, half the Primarchs, to rebel. This kicked off a galactic civil war we now know as the Horus Heresy. The dream of a unified humanity, it died in fire. And it all ended when the Emperor himself was forced to completely obliterate his favored son, body and soul. An act that left the Emperor mortally wounded. And this is where it all leads. Fast forward 10,000 years to the 41st millennium. The Emperor? He's no ruler. He's a decaying corpse, interred on a massive life support machine called the Golden Throne. He's worshipped as a god by this brutal, fanatical regime, a regime that sacrifices 1,000 psychic humans to him every single day, just to keep his psychic light from fading out completely. And that brings us right back where we started, full circle, to Alara. As she's witnessing this absolutely horrific future, her vision suddenly becomes a two-way street. A vast, ancient, unbelievably powerful consciousness reaches back across 10,000 years and makes contact. You guessed it, it's the psychic mind of the Emperor sitting on his golden throne. So the Emperor, even in his near-death state, he senses her. He senses her unique connection to the very structure of the warp, which she calls the Ethereum. And he sees her as more than just some random dreamer from the past. He sees her as a potential instrument, maybe even a key that could bridge the lost knowledge of her time with the desperate, unending war of his. And just like that, a Dreamweaver's personal quest to restore some lost, ancient harmony becomes tangled up with the very survival of a galaxy in its darkest hour. So it leaves us with this one critical question. In a future where there is only war, could a single, forgotten piece of art, an echo from the distant past? Could it truly hold the key to saving humanity from itself?